The best driver in Formula One is not the current champion, who in the past 4 years has won 3 titles. It's not Sebastian Vettel, who won 4 in a row before Lewis took his crown. It's not Daniel Ricciardo or Max Verstappen. No, the best driver in the world hasn't stood on the podium since 2014 and hasn't won a championship in over 10 years. Who is he?
He's a hell of a driver.
I mean, he beat Michael Schumacher.
I think Fernando is the greatest driver of this century.
If you looked at the driver standings for the past 3 seasons, there wouldn't be any reason for you to think that Fernando Alonso was that talented. Last year, Alonso had almost more DNFs than actual finishes and only cracked the top 10 5 times.
Suspension failure stopped us to take this point, but this is what it is.
Room for positivity then?
Not many.
His results reflect that of a rookie, not one of the greatest of all time. So what's the deal? To find out, we have to look at his career from the beginning. Fernando Alonso's been driving since he was only 3 years old. His dad built a go-kart for his older sister. She didn't really like it, but Fernando loved it. He started racing at 5 years old and was winning right away. There was just something about him. The kid could drive. To win, being capable of operating a car isn't enough. The factor that separates good drivers from the true greats is intuition, the split-second reactions, the small adjustments that happen too fast to think about. It's a subconscious link that borders on instinct. From the beginning, it was clear that Fernando possessed this gift. After winning 7 Spanish karting titles, Fernando and his dad decided to enter the European circuit. His first season out, he took 2nd place. He was scouted by former Formula One driver Adrian Campos to drive on his Formula Nissan team. In Fernando's 2nd race in the new car, he built up a 42-second lead, so they told him to slow down. He was quoted as saying, "I'm wearing my brake pads out. I can't go any slower." Over the 1999 season, Fernando earned 6 wins, making him the Formula Nissan champion. The next year, Fernando was recruited by the Renault Formula One team, who loaned him off to Minardi as a test driver. At the time, Minardi was a backmarker team, meaning their car wasn't that good. They just didn't have the money to compete at a high level. But that made it a prime spot for Alonso to build up his skills in a Formula One car. In 2003, Renault saw the aura of potential surrounding Alonso and brought him back to their team. In his 2nd race for the team in Malaysia, he achieved pole position at qualifying. At 21 years old, this made him the youngest top qualifier in the history of Formula One, a record that would stand for 5 more years. He finished the race in 3rd and would follow that up with another 3rd place finish the next race in Brazil. People started paying attention to the 21-year-old Spaniard. Fernando scored another pole position that year in Hungary. After the race start, he built up a staggering 15-second lead on the field in just 9 laps. In a sport where tenths of a second are a lifetime, 15 seconds is an eternity. After 70 laps, Fernando was able to keep that margin, lapping Formula One god Michael Schumacher in the process. Alonso crossed the finish line and took the record for the youngest F1 winner ever, another record that wouldn't be broken for 5 years.
Youngest man ever to win a Grand Prix. He's got it all, this kid.
It'd be easy to give the credit for Alonso's rookie success to his car, but in 2003, that wasn't the case. Hungary was Renault's only win, and it came late in the season. Not only was Fernando outdriving his car, but his teammate as well. Of the 7 races that both Renault drivers finished, Fernando had beat his teammate Jarno Trulli 5 times. It was clear Alonso was on the path to greatness, and his 2005 season was proof. Fernando's performance in the previous seasons poised he and Renault for a shot at the world title that year. But it wouldn't be an easy road. Michael Schumacher and his Ferrari were ready to take their 6th consecutive championship, and McLaren Mercedes driver Kimi Räikkönen would have his best season yet. But Fernando put his head down and did what he always did: drive. In spite of Alonso clenching 3 wins and 2 more podiums in the first 5 races, people still thought that the McLarens had a better chance at the championship because it was faster than Alonso's Renault. So Fernando had to show people once again that he was the best. Alonso and Räikkönen traded the top spot on the podium throughout the season. By the end of 2005, both drivers had 7 victories, but of the 19 races, Alonso missed the podium only 3 times. This made Fernando the youngest Formula One champion ever at the time, at 24 years old. When I was 24, I was eating Little Caesars and drinking Carlo Rossi alone in my apartment. Michael Schumacher was incensed at the loss of his crown and returned the next season for a final ride with Ferrari before leaving F1 for 3 years. What followed was an epic battle between the GOAT and the new king. Alonso and Schumacher went back and forth for victories, leaving only 4 races where neither of them won. I could probably do a whole episode on the 2006 season. There was cheating allegations, strange rule calls by the FIA, and straight up heart-pounding races. But in the end, Alonso won the championship again, asserting that his skill wasn't just a fluke. He was the real deal. He was the man that beat Michael Schumacher. Fernando went to former rival McLaren the next year, teaming up with rookie driver Lewis Hamilton. Almost immediately, Alonso knew he had to work harder than ever to beat his new teammate. Like Alonso, Lewis grew up karting from an extremely young age and worked up the ranks just like Alonso did, but earned a spot on a top team for his first drive. Hamilton was a phenom, just like Alonso. At the time, McLaren thought this was a brilliant idea. The seasoned world champ and the rookie savant. But all that would come from this pairing was chaos. Hamilton was proving himself to be a worthy opponent to Alonso leading up to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lewis had 2 more podiums than Fernando, but Alonso had 1 more win. While McLaren was aiming to beat Ferrari, their drivers were focused on beating each other.
The 2 teammates, you could put a cigarette paper between the wheels.
Their rapidly escalating rivalry came to a head at the 2007 Hungarian Grand Prix. During qualifying, Lewis posted a faster lap than Alonso. But to ensure a clear track in front of Fernando for a hot lap, McLaren ordered Hamilton to let Nando by. Hamilton claimed that if he slowed down, Kimi Räikkönen would pass and ruin both McLaren drivers' chances, so he didn't let Alonso by, disobeying team orders. Understandably, Fernando was livid. McLaren called both cars back to the pit for a fresh set of tires for the final qualifying lap. The teams would stack both cars in the pit, with Hamilton right behind Alonso. McLaren would hold Fernando for 20 seconds after the tire change, timing it so both drivers would have a clear track ahead of them and just enough time to complete a hot lap. Fernando pulled into the pit as expected and got the tires, but after he got the go-ahead to leave, he sat there and waited. And waited. And waited.
Yep, they want him out of there. Now Alonso's not getting on with it. Only 1:40 to go. Is he blocking Hamilton here? Is that a bit of a tactic within the team there to give Hamilton a bit of a headache?
Now, Hamilton doesn't have enough time to re-enter and do a hot lap of his own.
Checkered flag and Hamilton's missed it. Hamilton's missed it by 4 seconds, so he is not going to get a lap in. Alonso just made it through, and there will be some serious talk.
We always stop, we wait for the countdown in the radio and we go. But I think the calculation was wrong because my teammate didn't complete the lap. These things unfortunately happened today to us.
To put it lightly, this soured the relationship between Alonso and his own team and turned his rivalry with Hamilton into a completely toxic relationship. Lewis ended up winning that day and tying Fernando for points at the end of the season, with Kimi Räikkönen winning the championship by a single point. Alonso left McLaren when the season ended, after enduring justifiable scorn from the British press. In his own words, Alonso felt McLaren was biased towards Hamilton. I have a British teammate with a British team, and he's doing a great job. And we know that all the support and help is going to him, and I understood that from the beginning. I won't defend Alonso's actions in Hungary, and I don't completely buy that McLaren was biased in Hamilton's favor. But I will say that Alonso's departure from the team after the season shouldn't be surprising to anybody. After a brief and unsatisfying return to Renault, Alonso landed the dream job of driving for Ferrari in 2010. Alonso finished second overall in the championship, once again outperforming his teammate Felipe Massa. Fernando stayed with the team between 2010 and 2014, earning 3 second-place finishes in the championship in 5 seasons, and finishing better than his teammates every time. Alonso's Ferrari era is the best demonstration of him outdriving his car. By 2014, Ferrari was having a very hard time keeping up with Mercedes and Red Bull, finishing 4th in the Constructors' Championship. The car just wasn't good. Alonso's teammate, Kimi Räikkönen, managed to finish 12th in the Drivers' Championship, but Alonso finished 6th with the slow Ferrari. Alonso returned to McLaren in 2015, and there were problems pretty much immediately. Not with the team or his teammate Jenson Button, but his car. Honda returned to Formula One after a 7-year absence and supplied engines for the McLaren team. There's no easy way to say it, but these engines sucked. The team was plagued with reliability issues for 3 whole years, and not once did a McLaren driver step onto the podium. Fernando did the best he could to outdrive his equipment, but on the straights, he would lose any gains he made. The Honda era made McLaren and Alonso a joke in some people's eyes, but I believe in the fire burning inside Fernando Alonso. Not once during the disastrous Honda years did he ever blame his team.
We are frustrated and disappointed, but it's the time to learn and to work together and hopefully improve the situation soon.
He did the best with what he was given, even if it was the worst. And some other champions can't really say that. Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, the two most recent champions of Formula One, got to hop right onto a top team when their car was at the height of its dominance. And I'm not saying they aren't great drivers, because that'd be stupid. Vettel's one of my favorites, and Lewis is on track to be the most successful driver of all time. They truly are great drivers. All I'm saying is, you put Alonso in an identical car, my money's on him. Things are looking up for Fernando. McLaren made the switch from Honda to a Renault engine for this upcoming 2018 season. Yeah, it had some problems at testing, but Alonso managed the second fastest lap time right behind Kimi Räikkönen. That's enough for me to believe in Fernando Alonso. Do you Brits hate me? If you think I'm wrong, go write a comment, light me up. Go like the show page on Facebook, that way you never miss an episode of WheelHouse. If you like F1, you might like racing sims, so check out this episode of The Bestest. So, will Fernando make his return? We'll find out. The F1 season starts this weekend. I'm super stoked. Thanks for watching. Bye.